Hello, everybody.
We sound creepy, but yeah, okay. All right, Doc, how you been?
Not bad. Well, what a time we and the country have been having. So, at last, they've called an election.
Yeah,
Rishi's called an election. I must say, though, why? I mean, yeah, the announcement.
Yeah.
Why in the pouring rain? Well, it wasn't pouring, but it was hard enough, wasn't it?
So he looked tough.
What, rain? It takes more than a drop of rain to stop the Rish.
Yeah. Wishy-washy.
I don't know. It was very hard. It was, shining on his no doubt expensive.
Well, he can afford another one, can't he?
Suit. Yeah, but it seems such a basic. I mean, surely why not just do it inside? Have an alternative.
Yeah.
If wet.
Well, because he wants to do it outside number 10, perhaps. Looking, prime ministerial.
Well, I thought surely his PR persons, his communications advisors, must have been saying, must have at least
take a brolly.
Suggested, why do it inside, with desks or books behind you, so you look authoritative, not too elitist. You're the prime minister. They know you're the prime minister. They know you're in number 10. But he said, no, I'm going to go out there in the rain and face the voters. What if he had started thundering?
He got caught between two problems.
At least, yeah.
At least. One, if he'd gone out there with a brolly, he would have looked weak in some way. In his head, I'm not saying he would. And B, if he'd gone out there and someone else had held the brolly for him, he would have looked like a
even weaker,
a posh twat.
Oh yeah, well yes.
Who's got a servant. The guy would have looked like his butler, wouldn't he?
So he'd have looked snobbish and weak.
And weak. Not a winning combination.
But they must have been. The odd thing was, and it has been much commented on. Well, I've heard one comment on it, so I presume on mainstream media.
That is much commented on, no.
But the shoulders of the jacket were getting wet.
Yeah.
But his hair didn't seem to be.
Well, maybe it's just got a load of products in it.
Well, probably the best.
When did that start to be a thing?
Product rather
than hair gel,
as an uncountable verb.
Yeah.
Shifting product. I mean, that can
Verb?
apply to any
noun,
products. Surely. What did I say?
Verb.
An uncountable
noun.
Noun is what I meant.
Yeah, you said verb, yeah.
Did I say verb?
Yeah.
Even Homer nods, David.
Indeed. Good. We started off lowbrow.
Even Shakespeare.
So yes, why did that come in as product? Oh, he's got a lot of product in. Sort of makes it sound like he's got beans in his hair or whatever, isn't it? It's like.
Well, it did.
Could be anything.
I'm sure it's used for what used to be called products, or like shifting units.
Yeah, but I specifically
which can apply to anything. But on
product.
hair, got a lot of hair, got a lot of product.
Yeah, in his hair.
I don't know. I suppose it's just a sort of slightly shorter way of saying
gel.
He's got a lot of. Well, otherwise you'd have to.
Wax.
Otherwise
you'd have to specify.
You'd have to go through the. Oh, he's got a lot of hair, gel, cream. Wax, mousse spray,
I used to use mousse.
Lacquer.
Those were the days. Right.
But I mean, you couldn't even see the drops of water,
right,
where they should have been.
Glitch in the Matrix. Well,
AI.
Well, that's what some moron online will be saying.
No doubt. No. Well, someone somewhere in the world with access to the internet. So yeah, probably
plenty of them about. Talking absolute shit.
Look as though his shoulders were getting wet, but not his head. Right. I mean, are there really hair products that stop? Is it special sort of, you can even wear it in the shower?
I think, because the camera doesn't really show rain very well, does it?
It showed it well enough on his jacket.
Yeah, but that's the after effects of rain. It's not the rain itself.
But surely there'd be just as much
and
after
so you can
effect
see the
of
discoloration,
rain.
Whereas his hair stays black, doesn't it?
Well, it wasn't.
The discoloration of his jacket
wasn't discoloured. It just looked shiny.
Well, yeah, but it sort of started going a different colour in some way.
No, it didn't. It just started going shiny.
Well, like in Singing in the Rain, they had to sort of use milk, didn't they, or something, for the rain, because it didn't show up on the camera.
Well, because it didn't show up well enough in that studio.
Yeah. So I think his hair just was black and stayed black, whereas his suit...
It's a bit grey, actually, and so you'd expect it to be slightly darkened.
Change the colour, does it? If your hair gets wet.
It does. My hair always looks darker after washing.
I love that this is there's a big political event coming up and we're talking about his hair. national service, mate.
Yes. Now that
Just announced. I mean,
yeah.
How to
It has
court the far right.
Well, I don't know about the far right.
It is, though, isn't it? These young fuckers, they don't know nothing. They need to do national service.
Well, I think that's
Did me no harm.
I think it's more an appeal to the older generation, the
the
boomers, who probably
didn't do national service either.
Probably, including the ones. It has the sound of desperation about it, doesn't it? I mean, all right, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Let's just
come up with some mad scheme.
Yeah. I know. Let's go for real traditional Tory things. Bring back national service.
Yeah.
Although
bring back hanging.
That I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next one.
Maybe, yeah. Hang all immigrants
and especially nonces.
Yeah.
Especially sexual offenders.
Especially if they're from abroad.
No, I'm sure that
immigrant nonces.
I'm sure that would. Well, no, we wouldn't let in immigrant nonces for a start. No one with so much as a parking fine, or a late returned library book would get through once we really crack down.
Absolutely.
On immigration.
Sensible policies for a happier Britain.
What else would they? Bring back hanging. Probably corporal punishment in schools.
Yeah,
that's probably another one.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm not.
You're not what?
A couple of kids I'd like to smack round the head.
Yes, but wouldn't be officially sanctioned.
No, sadly not.
Resolution once and for all whether the two contradictory meanings of the word sanction, because on the one hand it means giving approval to something. I could sanction that,
move,
but also a sanction can be
a punishment.
Can be a punishment, but now it's started to be used as a verb also to mean punishment, like, I'm being sanctioned because I refused a job offer. So and the sanction is
it is odd, isn't it?
Yes, and it's been
Has this been bothering you?
Yes. But it's a very old one.
Is it? Right, yeah. It's a confusing language, though, isn't it? That?
And I did notice, I haven't made a note of it. You know, when you sometimes wake from a dream and speak
my nonsense.
Rather than, I think it's better to write it down, although I suppose
because then you're more awake.
You're more in the moment, but it might make more sense.
I don't, but that's the fun of it.
But just note, I was listening back to the one where you...
Master of Disguise.
Master of Disguise. You sound up weirdly posh in them.
Yeah.
Master of Disguise. He solves crimes for £8 each or something. I don't know where that came from. He's just
that was a good dream.
Trying to undercut his rivals.
Yeah.
I had a very...
Right, hang on. We've gone way off.
We have. Now, back to... national service. Yeah, but they've said James Cleverly, I think, has...
Never was a man more inaptly named. Yes.
It must be difficult. Imagine how many smart-ass teachers, let alone fellow pupils, must have said, that wasn't very clever, Mr. Cleverly. You didn't do that very clever. Every time he...
I've got no sympathy for James Cleverly.
Every time
that's what you're trying to elicit.
Every time he slipped out or stumbled or said or did something a bit stupid, it was, Cleverly, not very clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be I don't know, maybe that's what turned him into a Tory.
Yeah, possibly.
Who knows? But they've said, and we're bringing back national service, but it's only going to be for 1 year, and you'll have a choice between joining one of the
armed forces,
or services, as we like to call them, full time.
Sorry, recruiter. Go on.
Full time for 1 year,
or doing some sort of community service
at the weekends. For 1 year, I think your weekends...
Who's going to be policing this?
Your weekends, and I think you'll be able to do them in firefighting...
the weekends?
Or the NHS, or...
unqualified people just roaming around the NHS. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? That really does.
So, well, yes, and
fucking lifeguard,
and it won't
swim,
and it won't be legally enforced. I think.
Well, what's the fucking point of it?
Because I think they said, people who don't want to do it, what are you going to do with them? I mean, that'll fill the prisons up fairly quickly again. Because in the olden days,
loads of people that don't want to do it. I struggle to get them to write a fucking essay, let alone do this. Now then, speaking of Master of Disguise, I just briefly want to talk about you arriving in disguise to Wetherspoons.
Oh, I don't know if we should talk about that.
Why?
well, the person who I offended insulted.
Right, explain what happened.
Well,
we were at Wetherspoons, weren't we? Classy that we are.
We were at a
people.
pub.
Yeah.
We were at a pub which serves food as well as, well, hot meals and desserts, as well as alcohol.
Yes. Wetherspoons, I think we all know what that is. Yeah.
And, and I'd had a few. I won't deny that. Possibly 4 or 5 pints.
Yeah.
And we were just leaving, and as I walked past, I noticed a plate full of what I thought was sort of an abandoned plate of food with some chips on. So I picked up a chip and and put it to my mouth and thought, God, this is very hot. And then heard a voice quite nearby say, "Oh, leave those chips alone." And turned around, and there was a gentleman. Not of, I dare he's understandably, and so I was, hot, just ordered. He hasn't started on them yet.
Right.
Not abandoned, not leftovers.
You just stole someone's chips.
So only one. So I apologised, sincerely, I hope, and then scurried off. Rather.
And everyone else forgot about it. But then, a couple of weeks later, we met there again. Month later?
It was possibly 2 months later. Hadn't been there since. Yeah, but I thought just to be on the safe side, because that stealing a man's chips. That's
It's just a chip.
Well, that could be. Well, it was the act of a.
It was stupid. Yes, but it's not something someone's going to hang on to for 2 months.
The stupidity lay only in my not realising it was a freshly served plate
you were pissed,
of food.
Yeah. 2 months later.
Well, I thought it prudent, just in case. It looked provocative, my returning to the scene of this insult.
Very minor misdemeanor.
Well, some people wouldn't have let me walk out. Well, as a matter of honour, stealing someone's chips.
I challenge you to a duel.
Well, it might have been
Yeah, go on.
He might have got me up against. He might have got me up against the wall.
Yeah, but he didn't, did he?
Yeah, but he might have.
Right, go on.
And just because he was too peaceable to do that, I don't feel I should.
Go on. And you arrived.
I don't feel I should be complacent.
Go on. You thought it prudent
to look not as much like I did. I mean, I wasn't sure if I'd had a haircut between the two incidents. So, and I was looking for a hat.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would have been my beret, but I haven't seen it.
Your beret?
Oh, I used to have a very nice beret.
But it's like you're in a spy film coming in. You just stole one bloke's chips and he went, "Oi, leave my chips alone." And that was that. It was done. And then 2 months later, you're fucking turning up like you're in Mission Impossible.
It's not hardly. All I did
in a beret.
All I did was wear a coat that I don't often wear, or that I usually just wear for special occasions, for smart occasions.
And
I wore some kind of hat.
You covered your face. You had a hat. You did something. You wrapped a scarf around your face or something.
Oh no, that was it. I had a woolly hat, a sort of woolly weather hat.
Yeah.
Which 2 people gave me as presents.
Right.
2 different people.
Right.
Gloves and woolly hat. So I put the woolly hat on.
Yeah.
Wore my glasses, my reading glasses.
Yeah.
Had them on, and a slightly different coat, and possibly
false
scarf.
moustache.
No, possibly scarf concealing a bit of chin and mouth.
Yeah.
And just.
You don't see this as a slight overreaction?
Well, I thought I'd err on the side of overreaction, rather than go swaggering in there as if I'd never swiped someone's chips.
Okay.
I mean, it's not conduct that I felt I ought to make some reparation. Well, I didn't make any reparations.
No, you just hid.
I would have. Yes, I was just disguising myself. Hiding.
Twat.
But again, those sorts of things. Surely his
he
people would be saying, "No,
this
could make him look." And wasn't there filling a car? He didn't seem to.
Yeah, didn't
know how to do that. He was, I don't know, trying to drink the petrol or something.
But the headline would be, "He doesn't need the dough" or something.
Yeah, doesn't need the dough, or his dough isn't rising. Yeah, Rishi can't get it up.
Yeah, use your loaf.
Use your loaf.
Yeah. Get your baps now. It doesn't quite work.
No. Or if he visited let's say an engineering plant that had recently got a splendid new contract, and he was doing a bit of precision engineering on a flange. What there would be, it'd be something,
Yeah.
Rishi shows that at least he knows who has a flange. not like Keir Starmer.
Yeah, he was clueless on the old flange front.
That would be a desperate...
Lathe something.
Lathe? No, I thought it isn't flange a euphemism for vagina.
Well, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. And that's more a right-wing sort of criticism of Keir Starmer, the whole trans thing. He doesn't know what a
flange
a woman is.
Right, okay, yeah.
And Rishi chose to make that joke when there was the mother of
Yes,
a murdered trans
yeah.
teenager.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Good optics.
I can imagine he might say, let's go to a small business in this town, because we need to, the small business vote.
Yeah, I need to show that we're the party of business. We crashed the economy.
Well, Prime Minister, the only thing that's the only small business that's doing really well in this small town happens to be an undertaker's. That might not be great. Right, here we go. Take a picture of me lying in the coffin.
Arms crossed like
yes,
Dracula.
a picture of me. But Prime Minister, you can see the headlines are writing themselves.
Yeah,
so
thanks for the memories.
Even Rishi knows he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead in the water. Or he visits a swimming pool. And he's persuaded to get in with all his clothes in and try and get the black brick from the bottom of the pool. And he comes out. He's been really rinsed this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, what must also rankle with him
right, this is nearly 35 minutes of Rishi Sunak.
Is that if Boris Johnson was doing all that, he'd have got away with it.
Yeah. Isn't he funny?
Hanging on the wire.
Yeah, isn't he charming?
If he'd been out in the rain, he would have borrowed someone's fucking Peppa Pig umbrella or something. Say, oh no, the great English rain. I'm proud to be soaked in the traditional English rain that John Lennon wrote so movingly about, or was it Paul McCartney? If the sun don't come, you get a tan from standing in the English rain. We're all getting tanned in the English rain. Whiff waff's coming home. Blah.
Right, I'm going to tell you my story.
Offensiveness is not in itself funny.
Are you ready?
I care deeply about... Sorry, yeah.
Right, you ready?
Oh, yeah, your story. About funerals.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, my other half and I... she works in a hospital. And
oh, yeah.
one of her colleagues had died.
Oh, yes.
And my other half was invited to the funeral, and I was accompanying.
You were the plus one.
I was the plus one, yes. Bring a bottle. And this has nothing to do with walking in and finding Rishi Sunak in the coffin, by the way, just in case there was doubt. And so we turned up at the crematorium, in sort of middle of nowhere, crematorium. The car park, I think it was the service was 11:30, something like that. And we'd arrived about 15:15. And we thought, we'll wait. Don't want to make small talk too much, stand outside, and it was raining as well, so it was like, fuck this.
And you didn't know the
deceased. The deceased, no. And so we waited till about 25 past and walked over together. Well, hang on, sorry, I'll go back. As we sat in the car, this horse-drawn black hearse arrived. You could see the coffin through the glass. Old-fashioned funeral, yeah. Arrived. And we went over and sort of made little nods to people. Shouldn't be here kind of nods, this is bad, isn't it? Well, we should, this is bad, and something bad's happened. Yeah, it's a sad occasion. Yeah, a little conciliatory sort of raise the eyebrow. Yeah, not purse the lips, is it? Sort of.
No, what do you do? So the sort of
clamp
of the
them
lips.
together, clench of the lips.
Trying to express sadness, sympathy,
respect, dignity,
and resilience, all in the same facial gesture.
So did that to a few people, nods, and then it was about sort of 30-40 people there, and then looked up, and they they sort of have a plasma screen outside with a picture of the deceased.
Oh right,
on it. Not as they're dead, but you know what I mean, like them in life.
In life, yeah.
Clearly. And it was a little girl who was about 6 or whatever.
Oh, right.
Disabled, I think. Girl
Yes.
And then they got the coffin out, and it was quite a small coffin. And we both realised at the same moment we were there at the wrong funeral.
Oh dear. Was it a timing error, or were you at the wrong place?
Well, we sort of looked at one another and walked away as if in sorrow, and got to the car. And yes, it was 2 weeks hence.
Oh, you got the day wrong.
Totally wrong.
Oh. Wow.
And then, well, got the giggles, which I know is bad.
Nervous,
hysteria. We fucked up. Wasn't laughing at this kid being dead.
No,
obviously.
No.
Just laughing at our fuck up and oh god, this is the worst social faux pas we could have made. And then, had to drive out, not laughing, as people were pulling into the car park to attend this kid's funeral. Yeah. It was bad. Yeah.
And yet, you'd had a bit of a laugh about it.
Well, yeah, because it was awful.
Is that the silver lining behind
I suppose,
the cloud?
yes. I mean, again, not making mock of this person in their life, because that's wonderful. But oh god, yeah, it was awful. It was one of the most awful things. I just kept remembering the little conciliatory nods I'd done to people and laughing that I'd done it, having not known who this person was.
Well, they were still...
And they must have been looking at us like, who the fuck's that?
Ah, yes, here we are. Well, I
It's
remember...
very good and not political.
Some time ago, I think we had a little game in which you had to match the...
Strapline?
Strapline, is that your tagline?
Tagline,
on covers of books.
Yeah.
With
title.
with the book, and you had to guess. It was quite fun. So,
yeah, it was brilliant. Go on.
So, a slight variation on that. This time, it's taglines from film posters.
Right, are these films that people have heard of?
Yes, I haven't gone for all my favourite obscure French rambling.
Done. This film is boring and nothing happens. Oh, the green anything by Eric Romer is my answer.
Oh, well remembered,
Go on.
Mr. Cineast. Well, yes, I mean, some are very well known, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the most famous
Space
ones.
No One Can Hear You Scream.
Alien, the first one. Just When You Thought It Was Safe to Go Back in the Water.
Yeah. Jaws 2.
2. Did Jaws 1 have a...
No, don't think so.
Don't Go in the Water? What are other famous ones?
An Adventure 65 million years in the making.
Oh, is that Don't Tell Me? It's Don't Tell Me, Odyssey 2001 A Space Odyssey.
No.
Isn't it?
No. Think about it. 65. What happened 65 million years ago?
All the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Oh, not Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Do you not like that film?
Well, I haven't
Never seen it.
I haven't seen...
It's fucking brilliant.
I haven't seen it all.
You're an idiot.
I haven't seen it all. I've saw about half an hour of it once and wasn't terribly impressed. But
Go on. Right, let's do this then.
Right, okay. The story of a man who was too proud to run. Too proud to run.
Well, Logan's Run? No. Is it something to do with running?
Only figuratively.
Not Chariots of Fire. Right, okay. Rollerball. I don't bloody
Too proud to run. He was too proud to run, but not too proud to roll on his skates round and around that sort of velodrome thing.
James Carl. He was too proud to... Not too proud, or too proud to run.
The story of a man who was too proud
right, so
to
he
run.
stood and fought his ground.
Stood and fought.
High Noon.
Well done.
Yeah.
I should think you'll get this one. The story of an uncommonly gentle man.
Forrest Gump.
No.
Similar, though.
No, it's 1980s. It's a bit fantasy. Not complete fantasy.
Magical realism or fantasy?
It's sort of set in the real world,
right, but with magical elements.
Well, it's magical or just...
I don't know. I do know it, but I can't call it to mind. Who's in it?
Johnny Depp.
Oh, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah. When he said I do, he never... Sorry. Sorry, we can cut this bit. Cut this bit.
Yeah. Why are you rewriting it? You know what it's meant to be. Just say it.
No, it's a misprint.
Well, you've written it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't want, when you're going through when you're being my literary executor, I don't want you spotting this and saying, I repeated the same phrase.
Same shit impression. Right, go on.
When he said I do, he never said what he did.
Oh, is it True Lies?
Yes, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's a classic.
And
Jamie Lee Curtis.
A classic?
Yeah, it's a great action film.
I mean, Citizen Kane's a classic. True Lies
Stop
is...
wanging on about Citizen Kane, right? Go on.
I think that's the first time I've mentioned it.
You always mention it. It's the film you bring up every time.
In what way?
I say the film's really good, and you go, well, Citizen Kane is a good film. Whereas Back to the Future, it maybe isn't.
Well, if we're going to...
Even though Back to the Future is bloody brilliant.
If we're going to throw around the term classic as freely
Back
as
to the Future is a classic.
Black to the Future, did you say?
No, Back to the Future.
I bet you did.
I'm going to cut your bit out.
I think there was a slight lingual intrusion.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Fear can hold you prisoner. Hope can set
The
you free.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
That is a classic.
Oh, it's rubbish.
Is it
Come on.
Rubbish?
You expect me to believe, anyone to believe, that he'd cut that bloody... that he hadn't had his cell searched in 20 years or however long it would have taken him with that
Well, they don't search the wall, do they?
cell.
Right, next.
And anyway, how did that... Oh, anyway. When he pours, he reigns.
Oh, Cocktail?
Yes.
Well, it's the only film about a drink that I could think of.
Well, but it's a pun. When he pours,
yeah.
he reigns. R-E-I-G-N-S.
Yes.
He's the king.
That is a shit film.
Be afraid. Be very
The
afraid.
Fly.
I don't know. I didn't know where that came. I was quite surprised. I thought that was an older. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
No.
We are not alone.
Well, Close Encounters? Of the third kind.
Yes. Yes.
I'm doing all right, aren't I?
You are. Yes.
Yeah.
I should have made it a bit harder. You'll definitely get this one. You'll get this one before I've finished saying it, I bet. Don't know why I'm so resentful about this as it was. This is the great picture upon which the famous comedian has worked a whole year. 6 reels of
it's Charlie Chaplin, is it?
joy.
The Great Dictator.
You failed? I thought you'd definitely get that. Even I'd get that. Well,
Is
yeah,
it Chaplin?
It's Chaplin.
The
but
kid?
It's the kid, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought you're quite a... Haven't you got his complete works?
I've got some of them.
Very romantic, very comedy.
Okay, so romantic comedy. When Harry Met Sally?
No.
Right era?
Later.
Very romantic, very oh God, it's not bloody Love Actually, is it?
Yes. Oh, I thought you loved that.
No, I hate it.
What about Notting Hill?
I haven't seen it in years.
What about Four Weddings and a Funeral?
I don't mind it. I think the ending's bad. He should have gone off with the other woman. The American woman's horrible.
We find ourselves in uncommon partial agreement. I thought Love Actually. I thought it would be right up your...
Why would that be up my street? It's shit.
Well, yeah, I mean... But, it just shows, doesn't it, that you don't, the Venn diagram, that there is an overlap between our things we both like.
Right. If you're getting these at home, well done. If you haven't switched off yet, which, I'm tempted to do.
It's terrific! Exclamation mark.
To mean amazing or terrifying?
Amazing, I think.
Right, okay. Era?
I think it was released 1941.
Oh, okay. So is it Citizen Kane?
It is.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's no Citizen Kane, is it? Right, go on.
Well, not many films are.
Why have I written Braille lineup Lionel Richie? Do you remember?
Braille lineup Lionel Richie. What, is that your notes? Yeah. Oh, you do them on your phone, do you? Yeah. Well, I suppose, fair enough. Yeah. I suppose it uses up.
So this is to do with the Hello video from Lionel Richie, yes?
Oh, Lionel Richie. I was thinking Lionel Blair. I was thinking...
And Lionel Blair,
Right,
give us a clue.
I was thinking it was...
With
yeah,
Michael Parkinson.
the Braille version of Give Us a Clue.
No,
Or something.
no.
Or Line-up.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah, and the video in which... Well, it looks twofold dodgy now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's I suppose, is it meant to be a college, a
Yeah,
community
he's a
college?
college professor. Yeah.
Some sort of performing arts
Yeah,
or
yeah.
art and design college, because
Yeah, yeah.
he seems to be doing the music and dancing, I don't
Poncing
know.
about. Yeah.
And the blind student with whom he's in love,
Yes.
but really should be holding off from.
And she is making a sort of sculpture of his head.
Well, right at the end, he sort of suddenly appears and says, "What's going on?"
No, so someone comes to get him. Professor, you've got to see what's happening in the art department or whatever.
In classroom 3B,
Yeah.
which is an art department, which you wouldn't know because you teach music, don't you, sir?
And he legs it through.
Music and piano, that's
And
right.
she's made a sort of sculpture of,
Of his head.
allegedly Lionel Richie's head. But it
doesn't
doesn't look anything like him.
It looks a bit. You can tell it's meant to be him.
Well, my
Without anyone.
vision of it is that Lionel Richie in the real world walks in and sort of quietly memos to someone. Who's that?
Oh,
Who the fuck is that? And they go, it's you. Oh,
She'd prob-
that's brilliant. That well done.
she'd probably hear that.
Looks just like me. Well, yeah, memos, but I can't do a memo, can I?
What's a memo?
Just mouth movement.
Oh, is that? I didn't know there was a term for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought just he mouths to someone.
All right, well, mouths then.
A memo.
Or imagine this as a mouth.
How's it spelled?
Who the fuck's that?
How's it spelled?
M-E, like memo.
Memo. How would you know the? I suppose the context.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
have to rely on the context.
Indeed. Yeah. Who's that? Who the fuck is that?
Well, they'd just have to point, wouldn't they? Nod.
Yeah, because she's blind. So she wants- Oh, that is brilliant. That looks just like me. Yeah. Hello.
It does, and yes, and because it looks a bit exploited. Was the performer
Blind.
The actress blind?
Don't think so. No.
No, taking work out of some blind person's.
Yes. Heaven forbid that an actor should be acting something they don't have.
Well, this is an interesting. I mean, it is, What?
Why are you in a zombie film? You've never encountered the living dead.
Well,
come on.
Well, yes.
Acting.
Well, yes.
It's called, isn't it?
But well, yes, but
No, there's no but.
What?
There's no but. That is an actor's job, isn't it? To
where
act. Pretend to be someone they're not.
Where do you stand on white actors playing black or Asian characters?
Well, that's different, isn't it?
Ah, that's different. I see.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Right. But it wasn't. I mean, that was considered perfectly acceptable up until about the 1980s. I think that was the last time. I think there was a bit of a fuss about Richard Attenborough playing the old Indian man in the film of A Passage to India.
Passage to India,
1984. Yeah. There were even... I mean...
Well, it ain't our fault, Mum.
Yeah, Michael Bates.
Yeah.
Yes. Although... I mean, I have heard... apparently he grew up in India, spoke fluent Punjabi,
Right.
because the servants were Punjabi.
Wow. Okay, my sympathy.
suppose.
Yeah. He's
And I mean, you wouldn't do it now, but I allow myself not to feel.
because I want to enjoy It Ain't Our Fault, Mum. One of the worst sitcoms ever made.
Now, come on, David, you're just being.
I love the fact that you slag off the Shawshank Redemption, but It Ain't Our Fault, Mum is, that's a masterpiece.
Hardly comparing like with like.
Well, no, but still.
So, what do you know about the Central African Republic?
Oh, for God's sake. Almost nothing. Why?
Do you know when the Central African Republic... do you know who they became independent from? Whose empire were they part of?
Ours, I'm assuming.
France.
Right.
France. 1960. It's always seemed to me a bit of a... the name does seem very post-colonial. Central African Republic. Doesn't sound very traditional.
No.
Just it's a big block of land.
Yeah.
In the middle of Africa, and it's a republic, so we'll call it that. I mean, I remember. I mean, how would you?
Do the people who live there call it that?
I don't know.
Right.
It's often initialised to the CAR.
Car.
But I assume. I mean, they did when Africa was being carved up. That's why there's all those straight lines. They ignored traditional tribal and geographical boundaries.
Yeah. Where are we going with this?
No, well, just and Sudan, they're having a bad time.
I'm just going to bear in mind, remind you, that before I press record on this section, I said, "What have you got coming up?" And you went, "It's gold." This is not gold.
Haiti, some bad stuff going on there.
Yeah. What's funny about this?
With Sudan, it just seems to be. I don't know. It's just I think it's important that one keeps abreast of world affairs.
Do it in your own time.
I bet.
If people want that, they'll listen to some other podcast. Surely.
No, but it's. I see this podcast as being a bit like radio when there was only one channel. You never know what you're gonna get.
Right.
You might tune in for a bit of comedy, and then get a bit of politics.
Great. Good. This is all going in the bin because it's shit.
I bet when the First World War first broke out, I bet a lot of people were saying in Britain, I bet a lot of people were saying, who's this Archduke Ferdinand? Where's Bosnia?
Yeah.
Why are they having a Austria-Hungary? Since when have they been in the same country? Whose side are we on? Why is Russia? Why have Germany gone through Belgium? But if there'd been podcasts around like this one, people making apparently frivolous references to the Central African Republic.
When is this ever going to affect us?
Let's not tempt fate, David. Let's not tempt fate.
My full name.
Well, it's like I'm sure a lot of people were saying, they're having a bit of a row in on Bosnia and Austrian Herzegovina and all that. And then, of course, it all kicked off again in the 1990s, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you are. And so when you see that...
Why are we talking about this?
Well, when you see the heartbreaking footage and the terrible moral dilemmas that come with it...
I don't watch the news.
At least you'll be well informed.
I don't watch the news.
Why? Because it's all boring.
Well, no, it's not boring. It's just there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, you can make a donation.
Well, I could do that.
True.
But that's about it. And so what's the point, really, in me winding myself up about it and getting depressed?
Well, I don't know, might take you out of yourself.
Can I tell you something my mum said?
Okay.
So have you seen those adverts on telly normally during the daytime? They're trying to get you to donate to some charity or other, right?
Quite often donkeys.
Well, this was
or
Adopt a Donkey.
Oh, Adopt a Donkey.
Adopt a Donkey.
Because what are they used for? They don't still use them down the mines, do they?
I don't know what they use them for. But my stepdad said to my mum, I think we should maybe donate to that, Jerry, that Adopt a Donkey. And my mum said, where are we going to put it?
What's that? Deliberately?
No.
What? She was making a joke?
No, she genuinely thought they were going to adopt a donkey and have it in their back garden. She did then giggle at her own silliness. So,
right.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yes, I don't know if we should...
well, I'm keeping that bit in. It's my mum, fuck you. What was your freshers week like?
Well...
your first week of uni?
Yeah. Lonely.
Oh.
Well, I didn't go to any of the freshers' events.
Why?
Oh, I went to the...
Bastard.
I did go to the... what was it? The sort of... the group... The societies.
Right. Yeah.
And
was there one for miserable bastards who want to be a left alone society?
Well, I hope there would be now. I hope society...
The misanthropes society.
I hope society has, got on with the differently sociable, has accepted that we are, valid...
Well, you wouldn't be in a society, though, would you? By definition, surely.
Well...
It's been like, I suppose, be like the Diogenes Club.
Do you know who Diogenes was?
Yeah, he was a Greek philosopher.
Used to excrete and masturbate in public.
Yeah.
Which probably wouldn't go down so well today. I'm just saying, it's all very well. I mean, he argued that, would that I could satisfy my sexual desires as easily as I can my hungry desires. Although you can, because he was just eating, shitting and wanking in public. Not sure what point he was trying to make. Anyway, but he had quite a following. Alexander the Great, supposedly, went to meet him and said, is there anything I can do?
Can you stop doing that, please? I want to talk to you.
Said, according to, I don't know what, who originated
Right,
it.
yeah.
He'd say, Alexander went to see this great philosopher who he admired and said, is there anything I can do for you? And Diogenes supposedly said, yes, get out of the sunlight.
He was blocking the sunlight.
Yeah. Presumably he wasn't mid-wank.
Yeah, maybe not. Having a big shit in the street.
Or possibly killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, well, it'd be difficult to do that, surely.
Not if you've...
To wank and shit at the same time. But apparently if you fart and sneeze at the same time, your body takes a screenshot of itself. But anyway, Freshers Week.
Freshers Week. Yes, I went to the Society's meeting.
And did you join any?
Well, I did speak to the chap at the stand of the Amnesty International.
That'd be a hoot, wouldn't it, to join that?
And he was a very pleasant chap, rather posh.
No
Well
sort of
spoken.
theatrical society, music society. So you went to the societies thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the purpose of which is surely to, meet women.
Not really.
Yeah, come on. You're at uni.
There was, if there'd been a drama.
And the one you ended up at was fucking Amnesty International.
Well, I thought, I might meet some serious-minded people who might be impressed with my knowledge of, Book
society? No book society? Literary society?
There's somewhere where, what do you think of the Central African Republic might have been a good chat-up line.
I doubt it. Well, to whom?
To someone who cares about international politics and the... And there they are in the Amnesty International Society,
looking miserable.
I was disappointed that all they
sallow.
All they sort of gave me was a list of governments with their addresses to write to.
That's lame, isn't it?
And I think a sort of form a standard letter.
Right.
Whereas I was really hoping for some information about what this government. Mind you, then I would have just got very interested in the history of the country. Probably got
You might have met
sidetracked.
some existentialist woman that would have taken a shine to you, I suppose, yeah. Yeah.
Possibly.
But I'm assuming you never went back to any of these societies.
I don't know if they had meetings.
Oh, for God's sake, you learned nothing. Shall I tell you about my Freshers Week?
Yes, I'm sure it was relatively exciting. Relative to mine.
It was, yeah. Well,
isn't
I remember sitting there the first day and then people at the front throwing a load of condoms at us.
Hang on.
In packets.
What was this? The
Freshers
Week. So you were all the starters, all the freshers.
Yeah. And we sat in the theatre listening to a talk.
We had something like that. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, where they threw condoms at you?
Freshers pack. What? There's no throwing, I don't think. There was a freshers pack that you could get.
Right. Okay.
Which might have had a pack of condoms in it.
Well, anyway, I didn't take any because I was dying of embarrassment.
No.
And then we went out to the bar where I think the second years had decided their mission was to seduce a fresher.
Oh, the fucker fresher.
Yeah, thing.
Yeah.
This girl and I hit it off.
Oh.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Job done.
We went to my house and we were, making out, as the Americans say. Heavy petting.
Making out.
On the bed, and sort of,
Were you going steady?
We were going steady, yes. Disrobing slightly. And then she kept saying to me, have you got something?
Oh, and did you think she meant
a disease?
STIs?
I'm still embarrassed by this now. And so I kept going, no, I haven't, don't worry. And then carrying on, no, but have you got something?
And did she think you were saying, no, don't worry, I'm infertile?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't end well anyway. It fizzled out. But I was just, so to speak, I was so embarrassed afterwards to realise when someone went, she meant a condom, Dave, you fucking idiot. And I went, oh, well, I knew nothing, We'd been taught sex education by chickens, don't forget, by Mr. Dixon in Norfolk.
Hang on, by chickens?
It was like a you know, an
There wasn't a
overhead...
chicken taking the lesson, Dave.
No.
Pointing its little or bobbing its beak towards the
genitals.
blackboard. Well, I was just hoping you, with your tech ability, you could edit down this this other podcast I'm doing.
Oh.
Well, me and Andy have.
Have you now?
Decided.
You treacherous bastard.
Have decided.
Right, go on, Judas. Yeah, go on.
And we're thinking, it's different from what we do.
Well, yeah.
It's just going to be.
It's going to be shit about stuff from the 50s and 60s
It's
that you
going to
two
be me
like.
and Andy. It'll cover a range of topics.
Yeah. No, it won't. It will cover stuff from the 50s and 60s that you two like.
That might be the starting point, but it's organic. It'll grow from there.
Yeah.
And we've been playing with various names, but I quite fancy names that a title that uses both their names.
Yeah.
I thought Will comes in Andy. Comes in handy.
Yeah, but it sounds dodgy, doesn't it?
Not really. Will comes
in
Andy.
It sounds like you're shagging him up the bum. Are you going to come in him? Will comes in Andy. Come on, Will. That's a terrible title. Did you actually think it was good?
But that's in the spirit of the sort of innuendo sitcom.
It's a terrible title.
Yeah. No, that's it. No, I was just hoping you might think it was real and get really angry about it.
Oh, I see. No.
But no, you seem quite... No, we're not.
I think you could do that. You got anything else before we generate a song about using AI?
What song about using AI?
Yeah. No. We're going to generate a song using AI.
It does strike me that what it does very well is that sort of, the comedy improvisation plus music.
Yeah.
Well, even without me, if you typed in...
It's not really witty, is it, though? It's just words, isn't it?
No, but have you typed in stand-up comedy routine about...
Yeah, but it's a song generator.
Rishi Sunak.
Fifth time I told you.
I know it's a song, but it can generate anything verbal, just about, can't it? Verbal and or vocal, or text-based, or image-based.
Yeah.
Photo painting of me as if Picasso had done it.
Yeah.
It'd just be me.
It'd just look like you, wouldn't it?
Both eyes on one side of my face. And my mouth, somewhere it shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, for a change.
But he's a genius.
Up Andy's arsehole. Right, what about Morrissey as James Bond?
James Bond song in the style of
I thought you meant actually Morrissey as James Bond.
Well, yeah. Well,
the name's Bond.
Yes, James Bond. And sort of Morrissey versions of Bond's quips.
I hate James Bond.
Like the equivalent of the shocking. What would Morrissey say in those?
I was absolutely mortified.
Swirlingly lyrical. So flat and Lancastrian. Pay attention, Bond. No, but you can imagine with that da-da, last night I dreamt da-da-da-da-da. And the opening sequence with the sort of silhouette, rather than naked women and men with guns, fully clothed men with guns.
Pigs, cows.
Possibly, yes, or men, or Morrissey.
Yeah, Morrissey lookalikes.
A silhouette of Morrissey in a DJ with clutching a scruffy bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, some gladioli falling around him. Yeah. Someone's got to make that somewhere.
Bond getting well, I'm sure our friend Mr. Chatbot or Chat GPI or AI Incorporated could rattle it off like that.
Well, speaking of which. Well, I think we'll get it to write our closing song, yeah?
If it must be done, then it must be done.
Okay, so it's going to be a song about a podcast called Will and They're With Us as well as Dave. And what would you like the topic to be?
The Central African Republic.
Okay. Well, that's it from us, yeah? We'll leave you with that song.
Yeah, we'll leave you with that. I can't. It's not going to...
Style?
American folk.
Okay, great. Lovely.
Listen up now, folks. I've got a tale to spin about a podcast that'll make your head begin to spin. Where there's a will, there's a Dave. They're quite the pair, talking about the Central African Republic over there. Now Will, he's a wanderer with a voice so clear. Dave, he's the wise one, always ready to steer. They sit down each week, fascinating tales to share about a country far away in Africa. Beware, where there's a will, there's a Dave, catching up on news, discussing the Central African Republic blues. They dive deep into the stories, both the old and new. Where there's a will, there's a Dave, learning something true.